Hello, friends.
Hey, mamas.
Welcome to My Invisible Disease podcast. We are here to share our struggles and hacks as two moms living with chronic illness.
Tune in and join our community as we share stories and experiences while we sort through the ups and downs of living with invisible disease. You've had a crazy week. So I'll give a quick little recap for those that don't know what happened offline this week. So I log into Facebook and I see a message from you that says, I'm about to do something super scary. I'm terrified, but I'm going to do it. And then there was nothing. ... I
know my sister wrote me, was like, what is it?
What's going on?
Yeah.
So I was very excited because I also was eagerly watching. And then the next day you uploaded a video that took so much bravery, and I'm so proud of you for putting it together. But the whole crew sat down and you essentially went public. You are looking for a liver. We need a transplant. How did you get to the point that you decided, all right, today's the day, we're making a video?
Well, interestingly enough, I had not planned on doing that at all. And if I've ever thought about it, I thought, maybe after a year of waiting and, if I'm getting really sick, that, maybe it's just such a fear of mine to ask for help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally, because I've known I've had this disease and I said it in the video since I was a kid, it was like instilled in me that one day that might be my fate. And I was like, no, I'm going to be independent. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to heal myself. I am going to, I'm never going to need that. I'm never going to need to ask someone for help to that degree that like it's my survival's too harsh of a word, but quality of life dependent on someone else. Mm-hmm. And so I hadn't planned on it at all. But then just with all the like internal work that I've been doing, I very much have been really focused on listening to my, that quiet within and listening to my higher self and really taking the time to do a lot of meditation and different practices like that. And so I call it inspired action. I was laying in bed and I wasn't quite asleep, but I was kind of in that dream state. And it hit me like a lightning bolt. And the message that came to me was, you need to post a video and you need to do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, that's what happened.
Okay.
So the next day I had a conversation with Ryan and I said, because I feel like it's airing dirty laundry. Like it's kind of saying our life's not perfect. And he's our provider of our home and he takes care of us. And this is something that like, me putting it out there that we're not able to do this on our own is kind of not a weakness or embarrassing, but it kind of feels that way. Right.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure he was okay with it. And he actually was like, no, there's like people that we know that don't know that you need this. So he's like, I'm totally okay with it. But I think in his head, he was thinking like, in a couple months, we'll put this together. And I'm like, okay. So I had a message last night when I was about to fall asleep that we needed to do this today. He was like, and he's like, well, no, like, and then like a half hour later I came and I like had the like little stand for my phone. I'm like, hey, everybody downstairs.
Yeah.
And I had earlier that day said to my kids, hey, so mom's going to ask for help. And I had a conversation with them of like, this is really scary for me. And I explained to them what asking for help meant. And I said, if mom can get a liver what my kids are scared of as far as me getting a liver transplant is I don't think they understand the risk of like me getting a transplant. Like if it doesn't take, I'm goners. I don't think they get that. So the risk for them is just mom's going to be gone to Edmonton for 3 months. And not home. So whether that's them traveling back and forth or whatever. So they hear it and they go, I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to be gone for 3 months. Like that's where my kids are at as far as emotionally like that's the struggle of it for them.
Right.
And I just said something that comes along with me getting a live liver donation is it gets to be scheduled. Because if I get a call for a cadaver liver, which is like years down the road, I can get a call at any time, day or night, and I have to leave immediately. So like I have a bag packed. Like that's traumatic, and it just uproots the entire family. And it's a lot harder, I think, on the kids in that circumstance, at least at their age now. Maybe in 3 years, it won't be so bad because they'll be older. But
yeah, because Allie was like visibly upset during the video. Like she's tears and she's crying. She's holding it together, but she was emotional. So,
and she understands it's that it's inevitable. So she knows it's going to happen, where I don't know if Connor really gets that yet. Like, it's just like when I went to Edmonton last time, he's like, let's see your scar when I got home. And I'm like, no, I just went to doctor. Like I went for my like liver transplant assessment, and he thought I had gone for a liver transplant. So, you know, he's 9. I don't think it's really processed the same way it has for Allie. But yeah, so I had a conversation with them that morning being like, okay, so mom's going to do a video. This is what asking for help means. It also means that if this is something that can happen, we can schedule it, and it'll make it a lot, you know, we'll know when it's going to happen, and we can plan the trips, and we can, you know, do all these things. And there might be someone out there that this is on their life path. Right. And so that's kind of how I framed it. I said, like, do you guys want to like support mom and do this video with me? And they're both like, yeah, like it's funny how, especially like Allie, how she's just at that like preteen age, but she really did understand and wanted to be part, like she understood. And the funny thing is, for how upset she looked during the video, she was like the one standing up and like pausing and playing the video. So like she was still like that, trying to control the situation while we were doing it.
Well, I think we all know that when we're uncomfortable, all we want to do is control the situation. So it makes sense that she would step up like that too.
Yeah. And I just gave her full permission. I said, like, you know, there's an option that you can sit with us at the beginning and get up and leave anytime. There's an option that you don't have to be in it at all. And like she chose to be there, but I know, but when I talk, like she understands what I'm saying, where Connor was kind of clueless. So yeah, so we did one take, and I just said, whatever comes out of this is good enough. And we sat down, there was one take with a quick pause, because I cried and Allie cried. And then we just finished the video and I just put it out there and I was just like, to the wind. Like, let it be. Yeah.
So Jesse is on his phone and he's like, whoa, Jenny's like out there now. Like she's put it out to the universe. Like she's looking for a liver. And then I'm seeing acquaintances of ours who I know you're not close with. Like Nick Provenche sharing it. I was like, oh, I forgot they knew each other.
Yeah.
So what has that been like, having people that are outside of your circle show support, and like how has it been being exposed?
Well, answer the second question first. The idea of being exposed, I feel like because it's an invisible disease, and when I meet people, they perceive me as healthy, and because it's progressive, everyone I knew when I was younger, I wasn't symptomatic, so they never recognized that I had a progressive disease that I would need a liver transplant. Or a kidney transplant, which will come too. But, you know, so being exposed, I think it was super frightening, but it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders too, because now I feel like I don't have to explain myself anymore. Like I don't have to make excuses. And, you know, if they don't know, they're part of the minority of people I know then, right? And Facebook is so amazing for just that networking. And I feel like it's like actually something that is good with Facebook is that kind of networking and community building, because even for people that may not be interested in donating to me, I think it just brings perspective to, number one, everyone's going through shit. Number two, like no one's life is perfect. Number three, that this might be something that may affect their family at some point. Number four, organ donation. No one thinks about it. No one thinks about like 90.9% of the people I talk to didn't even know that living liver donation was even possible.
Absolutely.
Like, well, I only have one liver. How do I how is that possible? So,
right.
I think
we've talked about it too. Like before we knew all of my internal organs sucked, I kind of said, it was like, oh,
pause.
so I can live donate to you. And then it's like 6 weeks to regenerate itself. Like you have no idea until you look into that. So I think moving forward, we'll probably figure out a way to share some of those statistics and facts with people, because I think it is a pretty cool resource. But bringing the awareness to it and actually doing it.
And it honestly has kind of made me want to advocate and bring more awareness to organ donation in general, because I think there's something weird in my head about, in our world, 90% of Canadians are for organ donation. Only 32% of Canadians have signed off on any kind of document confirming that when they die, that they will donate, that they will donate. And even then, family members can, like, I believe, like, overwrite that sometimes. Like,
like I'll say I'm 100% like, take everything and anything you need from me,
but have you signed a donor card? Do you know?
I have not.
Exactly. So it's like just that potentially would allow more livers to be available for people waiting on the list. And it's not something people are against. It's just there's no education about it, and people assume that it's just going to happen, and people assume, and so it's just also made me want to advocate, because it's a space that I think is just still so quiet. And kidney disease, like there's a lot more information about kidney disease and kidney donation, but even then it's not enough information. And it's not that people are against it, they just aren't educated on it. So it's also made me want to take a bigger stance on advocating and educating on donation and organ transplant in general. And then, so coming out was a bit of a, what am I hiding from? Like, what? Who am I trying to be cool for? You know? And then seeing support, I mean, oddly enough, maybe I just don't know Facebook well enough, but I really don't know who all has shared. But I have received some like personal messages from people just being like, I had no idea. And like just well wishes of like, I hope this all works out, and I'm thinking of you. And that's been really lovely. And a lot of them are friends that I had as a kid that just had no idea, or that I knew when my mom was going through it. And they were like, I had no idea your mom had a liver transplant, like while we were hanging out, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just been really like nice. And I think this day and age, people can really see themselves in, I mean, God, after going through COVID, everyone was worried about getting sick, right? So then it's kind of like, it's a tangible way to like see what maybe their own worries are, if that makes sense. But they can see themselves, so they can see likeness, they can see connection, and I think people are feeling that, and then I feel that, like, as you know, the thing too. So that's been really amazing. It's just that people have shared, and that there's support, and it's just that it wasn't. I mean, it was scary, but it's not that scary living your truth, or like people knowing your truth.
So also this week, I know that you're like the coolest person I know, but a lot of people have got to see kind of some celebrities come to light. So Christina Applegate went public this week that she has MS. Yeah. And actually, I'm going to get the quote here. There's some pretty interesting truth in there, and I found it very interesting. And I was like, hell yeah, girl, share your story. So what did she say? So they find out that she has MS, and there's kind of like an overall, she's in the middle of filming that show that she's in when they kill the husband or whatever. I don't know. Yes.
Oh yeah. What is it called?
I think you watched it.
Yeah, I did.
What is it called? Anyways, so she says there's a sense of, well, let's get her some medicine and she can get better. And then she says,
dead to me is what it's called.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
So the attitude is like, get her some medicine and she'll get better.
Yeah.
And then she says, there is no better, but it was good for me to take that time. I needed to process the loss of my life, the loss of part of me. So I needed that time because there is no better. Like, she's going to continue to live with this. But what I found was super, super powerful that she said, because it's before the Emmys, she says, I've put on 40 pounds. I can't walk without a cane. I want people to know that I'm very aware of all of that.
Yeah. We don't need people pointing it out. Yeah.
Right. And you think of, obviously she's in the public eye and whatever, but people just have opinions. And when you open yourself up and you expose your truth, it's going to be like the whispers, right? And for her, now it's like splattered on tabloids and this, that, and the other thing. But she's like, I don't need you to point out that I've gained 40 pounds. And I sure as hell don't need you to point out that I have a cane. And for me, maybe this strikes a chord for me because that was a very realistic situation for me.
Absolutely. Yep. The mobility, right?
Yeah. But like, I remember looking and was thinking to myself, well, if I'm getting a cane, I'm going to get a bedazzled one. Yeah. And it's going to have like a skull head or something cool. It's going to be like beating stick. But just the fact I wanted like a pimp cane. Like I wanted like a sweet cane. Yeah. Luckily, I haven't had to go that far, but it was a very realistic situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with medications you go on, I don't need anyone to point out that my cheekbones are gone. Like, I know that. I know that I'm puffy. But I just found it to be like so brave. She's like, I don't care. This is who I am. I've dealt with what I have going on. And keep your opinion to yourself. I don't want to hear it.
Well, I think celebrities, which is an interesting thing too, is like actors, they have to act off screen too, because they're playing a role for the public. So there is something really interesting where it's like people don't want to perceive them as human, right?
Right.
Because they live these on a pedestal in these perfect lives. But then there is something that's so tangible and real and relatable to that, you know, the people that are going to follow her, people that are going to love her for that. And that's the type of person, that's the type of fan base she needs, not one that's judging her weight. So it's like, it's an interesting shift. And I wish more, because chronic illness does not discriminate. All these rich, fancy people can still be chronically ill and need transplants. Like polycystic liver disease. It was, what's his name? He was a celebrity hairstylist, and he had polycystic liver disease. And I knew this, and I was like, wow, someone else and someone in the public eye. You know, Selena Gomez has had a kidney transplant. Yeah. Like, I like Selena Gomez because I know she's had a kidney transplant. Like,
yeah.
And it was
Sarah Hyland. She had one too, I think, or liver. One of them.
I think hers was kidney as well. And it's just kind of like, to see it normalizes it, to see it, you know, it takes away some of the stigma. And like, it's so powerful to like, especially someone that has a platform like that to share. And I think that the other thing is, once again, sharing my story, people are reaching out that also may need a transplant in the future. Or, you know, I've had people that aren't necessarily a match for me, but they want to donate. And it's been something that they've been thinking about for over a year. And it's like, they're going to follow this story because it will reflect some kind of life experience that they're going to have. Like, yeah, it just humanizes things. And I think it just brings it back to the fact that we are all one and there is community. And, you know, obviously in my situation for like the actual organ itself, you know, that story will unfold as it does. But I do think sharing struggle creates community. Like, I keep saying that over and over, like, because it creates contrast. Like, that's what we're here for. And I think the contrast of having struggle makes things like gratitude and love and joy just that much greater in your life. And that connection just that much deeper.
So now that you're out in the open and, you know, you have no more skeletons hiding in your closet, what would you say to those who maybe are still worried about maybe opening up a little bit more honesty?
So, I mean, and actually people have reached out, and we had just kind of talked about different like subjects that women are dealing with chronic illness and different things. Like, sometimes it's not just coming out to the public. Sometimes it's coming out to family, coming out to your friends of what you're actually struggling with. And this wasn't related to disease, but sometimes when you ask for help, you're actually giving people a gift because you're allowing them to give you that gift of helping, of supporting. It's almost like it gives them permission to offer support, because even if someone doesn't give me a liver, just to know that they're in my corner if I'm going through it, and that they might not have a bunch of, financial support or liver support to offer me, but they can offer themselves. I think it can be a gift to other people that you're presenting, to allow them to step up and help in the way that they can. And someone once said, like, asking for help can actually be giving someone a gift. And I'm like, well, I'm going to take that to heart and apply it to my story.
You get a gift. You get a gift. Everybody gets a gift. Who's going to do my grocery shopping for me?
Yeah. Because we are in our DNA, we are designed to function as a community. We are stronger as a community. And that's how human beings have survived on this planet. And with living in an isolated culture where everyone has their own individual home, they have their it's giving permission to almost like allow those energies to like permeate each other, and people to be able to offer what they have, and offer, love in an area where maybe they would feel uncomfortable, or a hug that benefits everybody when maybe they would have felt uncomfortable before that. So it does take down, I think, some barriers. But yeah, so I don't know, like that's kind of my take on it. We're still in the early stages, and if I'm not, I have no expectations, zero expectations. But overall, it's been a really good thing. And for people to share with their family, I think anything, when you're keeping it to yourself and it is heavy, or it's becoming something that is creating resistance in your life, it's worth letting go. That's all.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Well, I just want you to know that I'm proud of you, because I know how hard it was to come out and put it out there. You know that I'm still terrified of this podcast coming out, because everyone's going to find out my dirty secrets. But that's a whole nother story.
And isn't it crazy that it'll just make you that much more relatable to them? Like you know what I mean? And we feel like it's going to create more distance and more isolation, and it does the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
I can't wait to see how it unfolds and everything. And you know what? If it gets things going quicker and we get to move on to the next thing, then we'll figure out a different podcast to start, because we'll be healed. Hey mamas, we see you. And we want you to join our Facebook community where we can connect and continue the conversation.
Join our private Facebook group at My Invisible Disease, because no one should go through this alone.
Thank you for listening, and check us out at myinvisibledisease.com.